An absolute pleasure to have as our studio guest this evening, Dave Scott. Dave, welcome to us and welcome to World Focus. And of course, just to tell the viewers who you are, you're AfricanBettingClan.com and a real passionate guy in the sport.
Well, yes, thanks very much, Dave, especially for the invitation. And I've heard of the two Ronnies before. I suppose this will be the two Davies, so we'll just have to do what we can.
Right. It's the two Davies show. And you're known as a real passionate guy in the races, and you love your racing all over the world. Just how did you sort of kick off in racing?
Well, what can I say? Just to take you back a bit, Dave, a bit history on myself is that I was born in Edinburgh over 60 years ago. I don't know if you need subtitles now, just to hear the accent changing. But it'll be a change from the gong underneath the screen. Absolutely, if you don't mind, you know. And then I was a works director for Greenwich Electronics for a good 20-25 years. I was a bookmaker for 2 years, and then I went back into manufacturing because the bookmaking, the hours were good in these days, Dave. We only worked 2 days a week. And but the money wasn't very good. Lost a few rand as a bookie, and had to go and make a decent living again, working for a living.
I mean, bookmakers. Everyone says, you're a bookmaker and you're a rich man for life. That is not the case. Is that right?
Well, it seems to be in some cases. Some of my friends have made it in bookmaking. Johnny Stark rings a bell, but really, it's not as easy as everybody thinks. It's a hard game, Dave, and sometimes people fall in and you don't get paid, and you still have to pay in the Monday morning. So it was a long story, but it's not as easy as everybody thinks.
Right. Let's go on to AfricanBettingClan.com because the websites, you're getting websites all over the world in racing websites, but this is a really popular website, I believe, here in South Africa.
Dave, I did get some statistics from our Tellytrack host, and they tell me that we now have something like 60,000 visitors per month. 20,000 are unique, and we hit about 4 million hits on average a month now in 100 different countries. So let's call it the voice of the punter is being heard, and really I know there's a fairly bad stigma attached to forums. There's a negative attitude, but really we've got a tremendous bunch of contributions that we do get from the posters. I think we've got a mature site. And really, it's going one way, and it's really to do with the chaps that do contribute to the website. Yeah,
and people, in my opinion, they can get too serious and they can get too personal attacks in these sort of websites. But also, you can have some marvellous humour, because I will just recall what you put on your website once, and it was this, and you may remember this. You said that you told your wife that you'd been to a sale and you'd bought a Jetmaster, right? And your wife said, yes, oh, that's lovely. You've been to Macro, have you, and bought a cooker. So, I mean, that was lovely. Nice. Racing needs to laugh itself a bit, I think. It needs to lighten up a bit. We obviously got very serious issues. Your website, does that...
Dave, it does touch obviously the issues. As I often say, we don't write the scripts as far as ABC. I've got tremendous support from Bob. His nickname's Hibby on the website. The chap that does the competition, also excellent chap, Roger, and of course the whole Tellytrack team. So we have got a really good contribution from Matthew Lips. Barry Irwin comes on regular. Tom from the TVA started contributing now. So to be honest, we've got a very mature website, and we do have the odd negative things, and it's difficult to monitor. It's a 24/7 open forum, and I'm the one that gets the calls and the SMSs after hours, if there is such a thing as after hours when you're running 24/7. But generally speaking, I would like to improve the communications with the racing authorities and really send a message that we shouldn't be a threat. We should be regarded as part of the racing community. And as I say, it's a great community website.
Basically, something which the industry could benefit from, really, if they take the people's advice and that sort of thing. It's throw people's opinions into the whirlpool and just go for it.
Thanks, Dave. I do appreciate the chance to say that on the TV, because that's actually true. It's not that it's my passion, it's my hobby, and it's something I love. It's my pastime, So unfortunately, it doesn't pay the wages too much, but thank very much to the bookmakers that sponsor the site. that they actually help us recover the costs and allow us a few good days in the private box, which we'll certainly be having another one this coming Saturday.
That'll be
we're
something.
raring to go.
Raring to go.
And you're welcome to pop up.
Well, that's great. Let's talk about Saturday, because let's go back to Cheltenham, because I'm just back from Cheltenham, and you love your jump racing as well. I mean, I've seen, over the years you've followed all the top stars in jumping. And were you in the Coto Star stable, or were you in the long run stable?
No, well, I was actually in the long run stable, but to be fair, the ride by McCoy was top drawer. I mean, he's a jockey that can actually make horses win that shouldn't win races, and I think if you'd swapped the jockeys over, long run would have probably won the race, but it's due to McCoy. You know? And
some great other races there. I mean, Big Bucks, superb. I mean, you had that great finish, Sizing Europe and Finian's Rainbow. There was some wonderful racing, and I mean, racing is all about great finishes, and Cheltenham certainly had their fair share this year.
I think the one where the stable lad won the £1 million as well, that was a tremendous race. I also backed the winner in that race. So
£50 all to come on 5 different horses from his own stable, from Nicky Henderson. And he won £1 million, so good luck to him,
And he was back at work at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is also fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely excellent. I mean, there is that sort of a story, that sort of fairy tale story that comes out of a meeting like that. Okay, that's Cheltenham. That's on the back burner for another year, of course. Great that it does. Now we've got Dubai coming up this weekend. Are you interested in what's going on there this weekend?
I certainly am, Dave. We obviously have a few very lively threads running on Dubai. From a personal opinion, I'm not such a big Dubai fan. I really respect what Mike de Kock's done for the South African horse racing industry on that, and I'm hoping for a good night from South African horses, but I really don't see it this time. It's very open, especially the World Cup itself. I do not like the favourite.
So you think?
No, so I think I don't like it. You know,
the Aussie horse.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
now it's interesting. He's got Joseph O'Brien. Now, if he got Ryan Moore, I think I would sit up and take a bit more notice. I'm not saying Joseph O'Brien is not a good up-and-coming jockey, but he's only he's a lighty, isn't he, basically? And Ryan Moore, in my book, best jockey in the world. So that's not in its favour, I don't think.
It's a big gamble on the world stage. If you're there and you do have a runner, you obviously want the best jockey, and I do tend to agree. So I was looking for something else. I put a bet on African Kingdom, so that's where you get the negatives and positives of anti-post betting. The horse has been injured and the money is gone, but we'll certainly be kicking in on the night session to try and pick a few winners after we've hopefully we've won in the afternoon.
Well, Mike de Kock's got Master of Hounds, and of course he went so close with Lizard's Desire, beaten sort of cigarette paper width. But Master of Hounds, Hills, had 16-1 on Sunday, so I had a bit of that each way, 4-1 a place, because we had a guy sitting here in the same chair as you're sitting at called Johnny G, and Johnny G said, Molly, he says, there's a horse working real well there at Dubai called Master of Hounds, so we'll see how he goes. Whether, of course, he's an ex-O'Brien horse.
And I hope that Kevin Shee still has the mount. I haven't checked on the jockeys.
No, I'm sure it'll be Sumalon.
So they'll change over. That's a shame. I feel sorry for Kevin.
Yeah, I think it will be Sumalon. But of course now, then we look forward, Dave, to the summer in the UK, and Frankel, of course, due to reappear, I believe, in the Locking States. That's right, the Locking States on May the 19th. 5 out of 5 last year, 2,000 guineas, Sussex Stakes. I mean, they're all talking Frankel.
Now my adrenaline's pumping, Dave. Yeah, obviously, I would very much like to take the trip to Ascot. I put the Cheltenham trip off because of a hernia, so I've put that on hold. And all going well, I would love to make it there, because to see Black Caviar, to see Frankel run in would be a dream for me. And really, I think that would be the right stage to see these superstars. I don't think they're going to clash, obviously, but there'll be some fantastic racing over that period.
Well, interesting you should say that, because Corals have got the Queen Anne Stakes, which is a mile, and we're just talking outside with Rob McKirdy. He thought the Black Caviar won't go a mile. He's won at 7 furlongs. She might go a mile, but would they run her against Frankel? Anyway, Corals have gone 4-6 Frankel, 11-10 Black Caviar. My opinion is that over a mile, Frank will kick ahead.
Well, I haven't seen that betting, to be honest with you, Dave, but I would certainly take the 4 to 6 anti-post and expect the other horse to be scratched or move somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, of course, great. I mean, not only that race, but of course he's named Frankel after Bobby Frankel, the Hall of Fame trainer in the US. He's well named, and he really looks something special.
He certainly is, Dave, and I can't wait to see him back. And I believe that he's actually improved, if that's possible, during the shutdown, if you want to call it that. Yeah. So the UK break. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, Dave, that's certainly on the new revised bucket list.
Yes,
is doing that. In fact, I told the kids that the last trip I have will be to Switzerland, because that's where you can still legally have yourself terminated. And I put them down the other day and I says to them, now listen kids, listen Sue, I says, Jess, I do not want to have be fed with liquids and live off a machine.
Right.
So what did the kids do? They took away my wine and unplugged my computer. So at least we've had a dummy run, Dave.
You've had a dummy run. Well, you've got to say, Dave, it's a year to look forward to, isn't it? I mean, we're already 3 months into it. But from an overseas perspective, a huge year to look forward to.
Very exciting, and the Derby should be good. I don't know if Camelot...
Investec Derby, we better say Investec, otherwise we'll get into trouble with Bernard Cantor.
You might get a ticket.
No, well, we never know about that, yeah.
And I suppose Camelot's 5-2 favourite for the Derby.
Camelot as well.
Very impressive horse.
Yeah.
It may not run in the 2,000 guineas. They're still trying to establish if it's... They had a gallop in Ireland the other day. And let's see what happens, Dave. But I have an anti-post with big bucks going on to Camelot, so hopefully it keeps its ground,
Lovely, Dave. Absolute pleasure to have you in the studio this evening. Thanks for your bubbliness, which is so always great, and we see it on the racecourse. And we really hope the AfricanBettingClan.com, I'm sure that'll go from strength to strength. And thank you for coming in this evening.
And thank you. It's a good night from you, and it's a good night from me.
That's absolutely right. Good night from the two Ronnies, basically, here. So, yes, lovely to have Dave Scott here, and you can catch all their action on www.africanbettingclan.com.